Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Qualifier as we now have our two players determined to compete for that first spot at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. It's going to be either sOs from Jin Air Green Wings or it's going to be Classic from SK Telecom T1. So, I am looking forward to this, not only because it's our first non-PVZ of the day, but also because it's sOs. And Classic. Classic's done so well. And these are two of the best Protoss in the world now playing against one another. First map will be Frost. We always start on Frost. What is going... Is this some kind of conspiracy? Actually, it's probably just because the map's not too bad. So, without further ado, let's jump into game number one as we have. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner as our red Protoss. He is 2013 World Champion. He is sOs. And spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our challenger, arguably, he is Classic. All right. It really puts things into perspective when you're just like, when you announce that, yeah, actually this guy was the World Champion 2013. All right, okay. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, like that was like his tournament, his day. He was playing good then. Some would argue that, you know, some other people could have been the world champion on another day and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. In the end, he won the tournament. No. So he is the world champion at the moment, title-wise, and it's going to be interesting to see how this PvP unfolds. I do like PvP now. Not so much like a year ago, I want to say. Because I think Heart of the Swarm is... I think it's like 10 months old. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I think it's like 10 months old now. Because the first proper Heart of the Swarm tournament, well, it wasn't the first proper one. It was, we hosted a tournament at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship in like February or March, but that was just before the game came out, like just before. So it's almost a year old now. Is Heart of the Swarm, which is actually it feels as if it's been out a lot longer. For some reason. But anyway, let's get to these builds. We only have one gas taken for sOs, whilst Classic has taken 2 gases and put 3 in each. So the mineral income here for sOs is going to be a little bit better, but in turn, Classic's position to tech up quicker is going to be there faster as well. Noticeably, 2 pylons, one for either player, have been placed on the left or right hand side of their main so that they can A, either get good notification of when somebody's going to be throwing in some Stargate play, or B, even just put some tech over there in general. It looks as if Classic's probably going to put a Stargate up here. Anything else would have been a little bit strange. Will we see sOs go for a Stargate, though, is the big question. And if he does go for a Stargate, does he go Phoenix first in anticipation of his opponent? Oops! In anticipation of his opponent also going for a Stargate and an Oracle play or something like that. 2 probes bump in the night, and other than that, not a whole lot. Okay, so it's going to be the Twilight Council option here for sOs. Not too bad if he wants to go for Blink play against what we're seeing here from Classic. But we could get to that weird situation where where Classic is under threat from a big push from Blink play, and then he has to Chrono Boost out Void Rays and try and defend with those. So that could come to fruition as the Mothership Core is looking to push across here, and Classic has already seen that pylon warping in, whilst a small poke at the front does continue here for sOs. So he is taking advantage of the fact that his opponent was committing to an Oracle, didn't have that many gateway units, and with this Mothership Core, Zealot and Stalker will pressure, but that Stalker should be able to save itself. The Stalker, that Zealot was very, very ambitious of running into that mineral line. Does get the Stalker in the end. Might get a few probe kills. Photon Overcharge is activated though. Mothership Core soaks up a little bit of damage from that for now. And the Nexus kills off the probe. And there was a recall back because he has to defend now against the Oracle, which does enter the field of combat and gets 5 worker kills. So 21 workers to 24. In the end, Classic seems better off. And also Classic, having noticed that this pylon was there quite a bit ago, should be able to kill that with just Mothership Core alone. So that's a nice pickup for him, especially considering that SOS is chrono boosting out Blink now. Yes, he's getting a Nexus because his plans were a little bit foiled after this pylon was spotted by the Mothership Core, and he didn't really do too much with his aggression. But he knows, for the most part, that he can't move out too quickly. So Nexus is always a good choice here. And also, he doesn't really have too many gateways worth of production to really ramp up the pressure against his opponent. So, in turn, Classic 2 feels comfortable to get his Nexus. He doesn't know about his opponents, but nor does SOS. And now we just have 2 extra gateways being added on so he can start ramping up that Stalker count. SOS gonna trail on behind there with that Mothership Core, and actually is his main vulnerable at all? No, it's not. I mean, the 2 Stalkers there should be able to shoo away the Oracle. He comes in and has a look around, sees that the Nexus is about to complete, so knows that his Nexus is very well warranted and shouldn't be too easily punished in turn. Now, SOS is still moving into an aggressive stance, and the thing is that SOS can use this blink play as a very strong harassment tool on this map. There's a lot of room for these Stalkers to blink in and try and do something, but meanwhile Classic realizes that and has grabbed himself an Immortal. 4 Stalkers is the magic number. Doesn't see that Mothership Core there. Oh, just got a brief glimpse. I'm wondering if he actually saw that. Because if he did, then he'd be able to know to blink in. Forces the cancellation on a pylon. Not too big a deal. Blink is still on cooldown, so, well, comes off cooldown just at the very end. Where did the Oracle go? Did it die? No, it hasn't yet. And it hasn't really got many more worker kills. It maybe got 1 or 2, but not too much. So an attempt in here from the Stalkers, but now with 2 Immortals there, it makes it all the more hard to actually blink micro effectively against that, because they're dealing out such big chunks of damage. So he's going to try and do it, though. Gets himself a Stalker and blinks away, and saves all of his Stalkers for now. It's not the best of engagement positions for the Immortals, I must admit. Another poke in there, and the Time Warp does go down on the high ground. He kills the Mothership Core, though, as well as a Stalker. So SOS may be overstaying his welcome here. The one thing that is very, very thankful here with the Stalkers is that they can never really be caught too easily. And SOS is going to go into double Void Ray production by the looks of things. So, and still very, very good blink control. Gets himself a Stalker. Now, if the Immortals, for one reason or another, got an opportunity to focus down on the Stalkers, then it's very hard to blink micro against them. But if they're all sharing their damage across the Stalker numbers, then they are a bit better when it comes to those trades. Or at least the full Stalker count is. But Oracle is still looking for some room to make something happen. The one task here... Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Phoenix and Oracle. Okay. The one task that this Oracle certainly has is to spot this. And he does actually spot it right behind the mineral line. And the interesting of all of that is the Oracle does die just as this one comes out. He may have not looked at those Stargates properly and thought that maybe it was going to be more Phoenix, but that would be really, really weird. But he actually is going into double Phoenix production here. Huh. This is interesting from SOS. I wasn't really expecting the delayed Phoenix production from him, but those Immortals, they are very, very scarily out of the way. You know, if he came in with Phoenix and just picked those up whilst they were isolated, then he probably could kill a few. But for now, they're just holding their own. Oracle doesn't really get too much done. Only Revelation onto that mineral line. And most importantly, of course, the Stalkers. These 4 Immortals straying out into the middle. He realizes that they're isolated. He's going to try and come and pick those up. But they move out of the way just a bit too quickly here. All right, this could go really badly. If Classic doesn't realize that there's 4 Phoenix with those Stalkers, and he picks up every single one of those Immortals during a full-on engagement, he could actually do considerable damage here to Classic. Classic has to be very, very careful. And that one Stalker with the army having Revelation on it is really a hindrance there for Classic. For a second at least, until it wore off. But he knew exactly where his opponent's army was. Alright, so it's double Void Ray production. This is more of what I was expecting. But these 4 Phoenix, I 100% believe their job is to negate the Immortals. Anything else would be weird. But here they are. They're looking for room. Will try and grab himself a Nexus Deny, and he does get it. But now the Phoenix are less so useful with the fact that there are so many... Immortals, you straight too far forwards. Ooh, okay, it doesn't turn around. But yeah, the Phoenix are a little bit less useful because there are that many Stalkers there with them. But this is a really cool little composition and cool harassment tool that we're seeing from SOS. Because realistically, there's not a whole lot that Classic can do against that. He has his own Blink now, which does combat this all right. But still, gotta be careful. Third base is going down for SOS. Third Stargate is also going down for SOS. And it's full balls to the wall Void Ray production against some High Templars that were warped in, so they do get morphed into an Archon. Look at that Shadow, menacing in itself. Army supplies right now, a little bit in favor of Classic. He might look to put on some pressure at this third base. And SOS, importantly, wants to try and open up this path so he can reinforce properly. All right, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very, very telling. If Classic is going to commit, are those Phoenix going to get the lifts up that they require? They really, really want to focus their lift-ups on those Immortals for this engagement to work out. He has quite a few Zealots in his composition, does SOS, so that will help out as well. There's, yeah, well, okay, wait a minute. Okay, even numbers of Zealots. Actually, more for Classic as he just warped in a few more. But there's still 3 Void Rays in production at any time. The more time that gets bought here for SOS, the better it's going to be, because his third finished up a little bit before. Technically, Photon Overcharge has been activated, so it did waste a bit of energy on that Mothership core, but still, there's another one available to him. Those 4 Phoenix still looking for the pickups. If they can get the Immortals, it's good. If they get anything else, meh, it's not very good. All in all, you're committing a cheaper unit to negate a more expensive unit in the battle. But some of them will fall, as those Archons do provide the splash damage, as well as those Stalkers doing a lot of damage as well. He may end up going for it, tries to blink forwards, tries to kill off some of those Phoenix, maybe, does not get one just yet. One of the Phoenixes actually lift up some one of the Immortals for now, but has to drop it during all of this. But those Void Rays now charged up, going to town on this. The Stalkers trying to pick them off one by one. He does get 2 of them, but there's too many. And in the end, the Zealots on the floor for Classic do overrun this position a lot. The composition for Classic is just far too strong. The AoE damage that was being done by those Archons and the denial of any damage being done by the Immortals was not there for SOS. GG for game number 1. Classic takes it. And now he's 1 game away from advancing on to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. So, a good game there by Classic. Very resilient. And he keeps proving his resilience throughout this entire tournament. We followed him through the entire thing, so this is basically the story of Classic. If he's able to qualify, then that makes it a whole lot easier to cast when it comes to going on to Cologne, as we've just watched all of his games. We didn't see his PVT, which technically, if he does qualify for, might actually happen a lot, because there's a lot of Terrans there. There's already 5 Terrans and 1 Protoss. Now we're trying to determine those last 2 spots that qualify directly on through. But the countdown's begun for our next map. It's going to be Polar Night. So SOS looking to kind of bring things back a little bit. Of course, he does have a second shot in the lower bracket. And I believe if he... the thing is that for SOS now, because you find yourself in the upper bracket final, you have 2 clear best-of-3 series where you have a chance of qualifying. So whoever loses this goes straight down to the lower bracket, and then that series that they are sitting in, they are waiting for someone to come all the way through the lower bracket to then play against them for that second spot. So, these guys are just getting loaded up for game number 2. A big thank you for joining me here at ESL TV, guys. I really do appreciate it. I know we start early in the morning for these Korean and Asian qualifiers, but in the end, it's always a lot of fun. The games are really good, and it's very much so worth waking up, for me at least, at the 6 a.m. that I have to do for my morning ritual. But for now, let's get into the game. Game number 2. I say morning ritual. Don't take that as a literal ritual, just my routine. Anyway, okay, so spawning down to the south, we have our red Protoss. He is sOs, the world champion of 2013. And up to the north, we have the guy who's stomping through today. It is SKT T1's Classic. Okie dokies. Some fun times have been had with Classic today. We've watched a lot of his awesome PvZ, and now his awesome PvP is coming out. sOs, I kind of liked the idea of what he was doing. I kind of liked it, but the problem is that it was just kind of a bit mishmash, a little bit gimmicky. Not so much gimmicky. A little bit. I will go with the word cute. Cute is the word. Like if he had got the opportunity to isolate some of those immortals and then kill them off earlier on and then gone into an engagement later on, then that could have worked wonders for sOs. But in the end, that did not happen. The straight push came without him killing off any of his opponent's units or really doing any damage to his economy. Aside from, I mean, the Oracle that he went for, the delayed Oracle, and didn't do a thing, aside from Revelation once. But that's about it. So, a bit of a tough game one there for sOs. He opens up a little bit differently this game. He opens up with 2 gas geysers, as opposed to just the single. As does Classic, with the 2 gas geysers as well. And all in all, I think this is going to lend a little bit better to sOs's strengths. If he wants to go for Blink again, and if we see something like that from him come out, then he's going to have it a little bit quicker because he has a better gas income in comparison to game number 1. Whereas Classic is probably just going to play out the game in the exact same way he did last game. Because it's every single game plan he goes into these series with, it works out for him so well. Alrighty, well, Probe's going to head on over, have a little bit of a look around for sOs. Does lose a bit of mining time with this probe, being the Scoot. But there we have the Stargate once again. This probe's just going to head straight on in, have a look around, see the Stargate. And now he has intel that his opponent has a Stargate, whereas his opponent does not have the intel about his sOs's. As Classic didn't send out a probe. So now this is where mind games come into play. sOs knows about Stargate. Does sOs go Phoenix first to try and deny an Oracle? Oh, but Classic threw down a Twilight Council and cancels the Stargate. Told you, man, mind games. All right, anyway. So Stalker's going to move out as well here for sOs. Now, it's important that he denies that. It's important that he denies the Stalker ever gaining vision up the high ground. And sOs begins a Phoenix and has fallen for the mind games. And a Dark Shrine! Oh, Classic! I mean, Classic hasn't actually scouted out his opponent. But the thing is that if he believes that his opponent has also gone for a Stargate as well, then this is super clever. Because if sOs, off the back of seeing his opponent's Stargate, also has a Stargate... Wait, he's going for Blink as well. What on earth? All right, well, whatever. And he cancels the Dark Shrine! Oh, oh God. This is hard to cast, guys. He's just doing whatever he wants, man. He's Classic. He gives no... Yeah, he gives no... all right, so there's Phoenix on the way. I think this is a good choice by Classic because the Phoenix would have always saw a Dark Shrine. I was thinking on like a previous level of that thought process of, well, if he thinks his opponent went for a Stargate and he's already gone for a Stargate, then maybe he'll go for Phoenix. Maybe SOS will go for Phoenix to counter an Oracle from Classic, and then he won't have any detection for a Dark Shrine that would come along, and kaboom kabam. But that's not the case. The game is going to play out a little bit more normally. There's pylons going down over here for SOS to put on some aggression. There's a pylon up to the top left for Classic to warp in. It's a little bit far away from SOS's bases, so that will take a while. But SOS has spotted the fact that his opponent has an expansion going down, so he's probably going to look to take his own as well. Now, Blink is about to finish for Classic. We have the expansion also started for SOS. Almost a whole Nexus's time behind Classics, of course. And Blink is about to finish. It's weird how this game is actually playing out, because Classic is almost one step ahead at every angle, and he actually has a pylon in SOS's base as well. That one Immortal has to be very, very careful. It's going to get focused down. There's no force fields anyway either here to actually shut down any without the Blink if it was going to be there. And Classic right now, unit counts. Okay, he has 7 Stalkers against the 3. The Phoenix are trying to negate some of the damage here, but Stalker's already warping in his main base as well. SOS is on the verge of elimination. There you go, GG. And Classic advances on, and he advances to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. Congratulations to Classic, who has played an amazing tournament all day long, as well as yesterday. So we will be seeing SK Telecom's T1 Classic live here in the studio in Cologne in a few weeks' time. Now, SOS is not out of it. He's not eliminated. He was eliminated from that match in the upper bracket. But now he falls down to the lower bracket, which we can actually show for you as soon as I find my tab. It's disappeared. Anyway, we'll show the Liquipedia one, because my other one actually vanished. Wait a minute. I can get it. Official bracket. There we go. Okay, I found it again. Okay, so we can show you the proper bracket with some updates to show you exactly what's going on. So as you can see, Classic has advanced on, and congratulations to him for securing himself a Cologne spot. Meanwhile, down Bomber versus Jaedong, but it better not be going on. I'm gonna check in a second. Okay, so we'll do this really, really quickly. It's going on. Damn it! Ah! Okay. Bomber versus Jaedong. All right, so as you can see down in the lower, and then we have Cure versus Xiao Wei. And then the winner of that will play against Rain. So Bomber versus Jaedong will play Curious. And then obviously in this location right here is where we will have the winners of these two series play against one another. And SOS currently finds himself here in this final series, which determines the second spot finisher moving on to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. So, guys, I think for now we're going to have to go to a short break and then try and find some more games here to cast for you. We have at least, I guess, like 2 or 3 more series to go if the ones in the lower bracket round 4A are still going on. So, I shall see you in just a bit, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more Intel Extreme Masters Cologne qualifiers.